You okay with talking about wide receivers first?
Yeah, you want to start with wide receivers?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
That's what Pete has here listed.
Yeah, he's the boss. I'm all for it.
I was surprised Kenny Golladay.
I was too.
Not going to be tagged by the Lions. A lot of names to get to here, but I want to start there and get your reaction to the fact that they're just going to let him go.
I mean, that was one of the shocker of the day yesterday as far as guys that, you know, there was a few that got tagged where I went, ooh, I didn't think that would happen. Cam Robinson, the Jacksonville Jaguars. But it makes sense. I get it. Kenny Golladay was one I just looked at and went, you know, I know they got Hawkinson as a good tight end. You know, the wide receiving core, though, in general, with Marvin Jones being a free agent, it's not real impressive there in Detroit. And, you know, I look at Golladay again. You know, we have this talk a lot. You know, he's a top 10 to some people, a fringe top 10 type of receiver, and a big play receiver at that. I think that's the big thing. The one thing that pops to my mind here, and again, I have no inside info with this, I just wonder if they know something more than we do about his physical
because he was hurt last year.
I know, the injuries. Is there something there that they look at that they think there's a problem down the road? I don't know that. I'm just speculating as somebody that follows the sport. But I am shocked because he can really do it all at the position.
Yeah.
Deep threat, 50-50 jump balls, you know, good route runner, runs over the middle. He really is what you want. So, yeah, that's surprising, especially they bring Jared Goff in. I thought they'd want him to just support that a little.
That was my thought. In addition to, I know he was injured last year,
yeah,
but he's been very productive there.
I know.
And their biggest investment, this new group they're leading the charge, is in the quarterback and Jared Goff.
Right.
You would think his number one asset would be Golladay.
Yeah, I get you.
And they have a lot of ego, a lot of what they're going to do in the next 3 or 4 years wrapped up in Goff's success.
Yeah.
This one just surprises me a lot, not just for his production, but because of what they think they might get out of Goff.
To me, it just speaks more than anything. I think that the Lions are in a total tear-down rebuild, I think, kind of. That's what I kind of look at it as like.
You still want to win 4 or 5 games?
I know, but I think they're just looking at it like, listen, we don't like anything the last regime did in here.
Right.
You know, hey, we might like Kenny Golladay, but holy crap, we got holes to fill all over the place here. And with their coaching staff, right, Dan Campbell, and you got Anthony Lynn as the offensive coordinator. The other thing I just do look at is that they're going to be a run-first football team. It's going to be smash-mouth football, you know, boots, play actions, things like that. Maybe they let Golladay test the market and see where it's at and get back in this thing, but I was a little surprised.
I'm going to guess someone's going to pay him pretty well, so that's the next level with Golladay.
Right.
What do you think he's worth?
I mean, he would be the guy I'd look at the wide receiver position out of all the free agents.
The guy?
I mean, I think he's the guy I look at, you know, as far as being able to break the bank. Yes, he is the guy. He is, you know, to me, he's in that range of $18 million a year, something like that. Again, I think when you look at it as a whole, you know, is he a top 5 talent? No, I don't look at it that way.
Maybe top 10?
But yes, he's certainly maybe top 10. There's no doubt about that. Like we've always said, there's 20 top 10 receivers in that conversation. Like legitimately, I'm not even trying to be funny. But I think within that
point well taken.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. You're going to have different coaches who are going to see it a different way. Oh, no, I like this kind of receiver for this offense. Oh, I like this kind of receiver. So it's going to be all over the place. But I would think between his big play ability and everything like that, yeah, when you really look at the list out there and hit some of the names, I think he is the crown jewel of free agency this year at wide receiver. You know, you got the Corey Davises of the world certainly that are out there. Juju Smith-Schuster is going to be up there and command money. But, you know, again, the one thing I'll say, as compared to Juju or Corey Davis or, hey, an aging T.Y. Hilton or A.J. Green, Golladay is the one guy I look at to just go, no, clear-cut number 1 receiver in the NFL and a guy you can base your offense around. Other guys, hey, are still number 1s, yes, but they're older in age. Juju, I don't think, is a clear number 1. I think he's a high-level 2. Corey Davis, I kind of look at it the same way. He's kind of a 1B, maybe a number 2, just in that range. So, yeah, Golladay is the one I look at to get paid big time.
Let's say you are a GM somewhere in the NFL.
Yeah.
Let's paint the picture this way. You have your number 1 receiver.
Right.
You have a good quarterback. You're not going to go out and get Golladay, but you want one of these quality receivers that can play outside. Maybe he can play in the slot a little bit.
Right.
And Galladay's off the board. Which one are you going to go after the most?
Yeah, well, okay. So, you know, like when we're talking like, right, like value signings, okay, under the radar, guys you might not know about or aren't going to get mainstream. All right, the first guy I'm going to tell you that I'm in love with in the wide receiving group this year. And listen, I still think T.Y. Hilton's got mileage. I like Corey Davis. You've probably heard me say this before. I'm a huge Curtis Samuel fan. I'm a huge Curtis Samuel. This day and age in the NFL, when you talk about the speed sweeps, big playability, can take it over the top for an 80-yard touchdown, can get a speed sweep reversed and turn the corner for a 70-yard touchdown. That, to me, is special. There's some real elite skills with Curtis Samuel. He has a true explosion. So he's a guy that I look at that, he's not in the mainstream names of the superstar receivers, but has some superstar qualities that I like. And then the other guy that I'll just say is, under the radar. And this is really like where I would go, ooh, that's a good signing. Like, this guy's not a star, but man, he's a good, solid number 2, or if you have a really good two receivers already, you'd go, wow, that's an awesome third to get. I'm a big fan of Rashard Higgins out of Cleveland. I just think he has it all. There's size, there's route running, there's ability to just be physical and go up and get balls and do things like that. So he would be my, under the radar Chris Simms Robin Hood guy.
Yeah.
That's who I would take as far as nobody else is talking about or looking at.
I think it's always fun to bring up the point or bring up the question, what fit do you like?
Yeah.
Where would you like to see one of these guys go? You mentioned that you still like T.Y. Hilton. I do as well.
Right.
So just kind of as you think about it off the top of your head,
right,
where would you like to see him end up?
Yeah, well, T.Y. Hilton, I think about him and I think of the Green Bay Packers, right?
Yeah.
A team where I'd love to see another weapon, and I don't think he's going to command huge dollars. Yeah, you'll probably have to, I don't know, 10, 12 million, maybe somewhere in there.
You think that much at this point?
Probably, maybe 9. It's going to depend on how many teams get in on him. But it really, for a solid, really good number 2, that's about what you're going to pay now. I mean, I know it's the numbers we got to remember. Just they keep going up, the salary cap, and I know it's a little less this year and all of that. But that is a team that would jump out to me.
Thinking about that fit with Devontae Adams, all those young guys they got in there running around, he'd be a nice addition.
That's where I look at that. I mean, of course, and I like Aaron Rodgers. I'd like him to get a little help there.
He'd probably like that as well.
That makes a lot of sense. And when you talk about that team, the need, things like that. Of course, there's some teams out there that have tremendous amounts of money to throw out there too. Would the Raiders, would they get involved in that? A lot of people think Juju Smith-Schuster and they want Nelson Aguilar. I don't know. I know he'd still fit there too. Like a guy like T.Y. Hilton, the thing veteran, not an extensive injury history. I know it's a little banged up, but still has enough juice to beat you deep and is still a really top-end route runner. So, yeah, that'll be interesting. He's one of those guys to kind of watch and see where this goes.
And Sammy Watkins fit in really well in that little role there when he was healthy. Kelsey and Hill leading the way, but he would show up quite a bit sometimes. When you think about him playing elsewhere without Hill and Kelsey, what do you think?
I think Sammy Watkins, I think it's going to be a rude awakening for him in free agency. Like, he would be one of those guys where it's like, I know Pete put some phrases on here like fool's gold or something like that. He'd be the one that everyone's going to get real excited about. Well, we got Sammy Watkins, right? And I'd go, whoa, okay, yeah, you might get 6 games in 2 years out of him. Yeah. That to me would be, Will Fuller, the same thing. Will Fuller, a guy from the Houston Texans, all right, PED use, constant injury. You're going to look at the stats and some of the plays and go, I like this kid, I do that. But to me, that's a real risky signing.
He's pretty limited.
Yes, that would scare me to death.
Little bit of wide receiver news that Pete just fed me in my ear. Saints just released Emmanuel Sanders.
Oh, that's not shocking. They have a lot of fat to trim there. I mean, they're in the worst salary cap position I've ever seen.
He can still play a little, though.
He could still play, but he's not worth maybe the price tag they paid him last year. It's still being able to play. But I look at Emmanuel Sanders now, and I think we're at the point of this career, one, it's been a long career. From what I know, it's a little bit of like, hey, we got to manage the body so he can play.
He's 34.
On Sunday. That's what I mean. And it's a little bit like, hey, we can't really practice him all week. We got to just let him play on Sunday. It's one of those guys. And he's being paid number 2 receiver money, and I don't think he's a number 2 anymore. He'd be he's a great number 3. Oh, our number 2 got hurt. Okay, we can use him as our number 2 guy for a few weeks here while that guy gets healthy or something like that.
Well, I think on the offensive side of the ball, this is the biggest list of significant names or recognizable names.
Yeah.
Before we move on, is there anybody that you haven't hit on before we go to running backs?
You know, I mean, hey, I do love Corey Davis. It's a little bit of this last year was the first year of real, like, marquee type play, but he is an elite route runner.
You love him to be a 2, a 1?
Yeah, a number 2 really, but it's a high end 2. Okay. It is. I mean, that's where I look at that. I like him, you know, definitely. AJ Green I'm interested in just because I still think there's ability there. Listen, I was wrong. I put him in the top 10 receivers last year.
Things
I know
got
that.
Quiet in a
I was
hurry
wrong.
for
It
him.
got quiet in a hurry. And last year there were some drop balls, and it just didn't really click with Joe Burrow. And then Burrow got hurt. But he's one of those guys, I think if you go to the right spot, you could see a little resurgence of his career. But the guy, like I told you, I love Juju. I understand. We know. I don't want to talk about him too much. The guy I'm really excited about is Curtis Samuel. Like, to me, when I look at him and I just go, man, Jets.
Yeah.
Right. Jets, you want to run the Shanahan system? All right, who's going to be your Deebo Samuel? Oh, Curtis Samuel. Oh, fake toss it to him around going the other way.
Tyreek Hill?
Yeah, exactly. He can be that guy, right? He's a weapon. He's more than, you could put him at tailback and let him run toss sweep. So I look at the Jets, and again, I'll throw the Packers out there with Curtis Samuel. And then, of course, Washington. Washington has the ability to run that type of offense. Norv Turner, his son, everything, they were there in Carolina with Curtis Samuel, so they know what they bring, and they need another guy. They only got Terry McLaurin, so he's the one I look at that could be, everyone's going to go, what? We paid Curtis Samuel this much money? And I'm going to be the one that go, yes, he's worth that much money. He's truly, a game breaker that way.
Former first-round pick, right?
I know he's a second-round pick.
He's a second-rounder, okay.
But 4-3 out of Ohio State.
Big-time traits.
From Brooklyn here, New York, a guy I've known about a long time. And yeah, he was dangerous at Ohio State. He really was. So, yep, that's it for receiver.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.